Hello and welcome to part 2 of this Mesa Boogie Mk reissue. So I've got these capacitors in here. These are 220 at 300. I've just cleaned that board up and put those in. The wire to the standby switch has broken off there, so I've got that fixed back, which is just on the board there. Just go into manual focus. We've got 3 capacitors to change here, 30 microfarads. We've got those. We've got to clean this board up. Just have a bit of it cleaned up inside. And we need to check these coupling caps to make sure that they're not leaking. They've been in there a long time. We've got a new set of 5881s to go in this amp. So we need to be sure that that's right before we go any further with putting the new tubes in. So I'm just going to put a couple of, when I fire this up, I'm just going to put a couple of test tubes in it just to make sure everything's running right. That way we'll still be able to run it, but we won't have as much current as if we've got all 4 of them in. And I don't want to put new tubes in until I'm absolutely sure that this is running fine, because obviously those tubes were a lot of money. We've got the cabinet to clean out inside, no big deal that, so just hoover that out. And then we can fire this thing up and get it biased and get it up to par. But that's where we are with this at the moment. Now, we had a few comments on the first video, and me being the plank that I am from time to time, I didn't say this was a reissue in part 1. And it's crazy what you don't see when you're filming, when you're looking through the camera or you're focused on a certain thing. So when I pulled the manual out, it actually says as the title on the front is Mesa Boogie reissue. But I didn't see that because too busy focused on the state that the actual manual's in, and I'm going to straighten this out, blah blah, do whatever. Sometimes you just don't see things, and then the guy left this comment, and you're thinking to yourself, duh, plank. That's where we are with this now. We're just going to get on. I'm going to sort this wire out, and then I'm going to get onto this board and get this sorted out. Right, we've been cleaning away at this board for a considerable time. And that has revealed 1 or 2 other things, or at least one. So, and if you think these don't look very clean, it's because I'm removing them. So they are the main coupling caps to the output tubes. I've decided I'm just going to change those. They've been in there a long time, and these tubes that are, they're a lot of money. So we're just going to swap them. So we've removed those old caps that were there, they've gone. Cleaned the board, which it just seemed to take forever, and despite cleaning it still doesn't look brilliant, but it's okay. Now, if we go in, and if we look there, that is one of the screen resistors, and if you look there, there's a crack in it there. So I found that. I wouldn't have found that if I weren't cleaning the board, because they were covered in dust. And you can see that the others look much shinier than that one, as if it's had a bit of heat and it's been swaged. So he needs to go. Got a resistor that's lifted here, whether that's just not been put in right at the factory, this and this. So what we're going to do with these screen resistors, we're going to upgrade them. Let's go back. So we're going to upgrade them, and we're going to lift them off the board as well, because again, if that had burnt up, it would have just burnt the board. And it's also right over one of the traces, which is to just burn through that trace as well. And that just create all sorts of problems. So we're going to raise these off the board, and we're going to up them to 1K as well. So that's those. These need to be removed. They're on the bias, so they'll be changed. They've got to go. anything else? Power switch is loose. You can't see that on here, but just here, if we're just seeing the corner there, you can see all the wires wobbling around. So that's nothing though, that just needs addressing. Now this cap here, someone left a comment saying that this may be a death cap, and that was a fair call actually, but in actual fact I've checked and it's not a death cap. It is on the center tap. This is the center tap of the power transformer, output transformer, and this cap goes to ground. So this cap is to reduce RF noise suppression, usual deal. That's what that's on there for. Not sure I'm happy about having a capacitor from center tap to ground on an amp this size, but then that's in the design, so that's what that's about. But it was a good call. It just, you know, it looking at a video on there, it could well have been you know, he's obviously watched the video, so yeah, it was a good call, but it's actually not. I actually, you know, had to trace that through and see what was happening, but if it was a death cap, it'd be on the AC line coming in to ground, to be across the line, but it's not. Heatsink was another one that got a few comments in part one, and this heatsink does absolutely nothing. And was described by some of the regular watchers. So yes, I'm going to describe it as a pointless entity. If anyone wants to elaborate on that, then please put it in the comments, your definition of pointless or useless. So yes, pointless entity. So that seems to be, we've got to check these resistors here and just see if these droppers, and just make sure that they're okay, and just check these carbon comps and make sure that there's no cracks in any of them. But we're getting there with this amp now. We are getting there, not with this camera, but we are with the amp. It's very annoying. We've also had a bit of a mod there by the look of it. So we've had a plate resistor added there, a much larger one, and that is a plate because that's pin 1 there. So it looks like it's had a problem at some time, and I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, but that looks to me like it's on the phase inverter. It is on the phase inverter. So I think there was a resistor from maybe there to, I don't know on that, but yeah, anyway, it's had a resistor added. Can't quite see what's going on, I'll have to delve a bit more, but it's in there, so yeah, that's fine. So I'll get these caps in, we'll get these two out, swap these, and then we'll sort those screen resistors out, and we should be good to go. Right, so I've removed the coupling caps here, and I've removed that resistor that was added on, which was soldered on to this resistor here, and in actual fact that's all R101 that was missing. So R101, basically what they've done, R101 gets its feed from here, and they just put it across there because that resistor must have failed and they couldn't get the soldering iron under the coupling caps without burning them, so they just connected it across there. But now we've got the caps out, we'll replace that, but I think we'll replace that with a 1 watt. That one was a 2 watt, but obviously these are normally half watt, but I think we'll have a 1 watt in there, and then we'll put that back as it should be. Got some 100k metal films there to go in, so we'll sort that out. We've got the coupling caps out. I've decided to let's just zoom back a bit so we can see what's happening. So I've cut the screen resistors out. I'm going to replace those first, because I suddenly realised, if I put these caps in, I'm going to be working over them. So, and likewise with the coupling caps here, so I'll do the screen resistors first and then replace the rest of the components. Right, so I've got one of the screen resistors in there. You can see we just hone in, you can see him there. And here's we have got a few of those, so that's the result there. Whew, right, we're ready to roll with this. So we've got a quad of JJs in it, and just go through a few other things. So I've replaced these coupling capacitors just as a precaution, really, because obviously those tubes are a lot of money. There's one of the old ones there, so those have been replaced. We've replaced the bias smoothing caps there. We've got these replaced, those replaced, that one we replaced in part 1, and I've got these screen resistors here which are 1K, and they've been lifted off the board as well there. So we're ready to fire up with this now, all ready to go. So got that meter going on there, that's got the voltage on. I've got the current limiter on. I've just dropped a 100-watt bulb in to start off with, and if we switch on, I did check earlier to see if we'd got bias voltage, and we have. So we'll just let the filaments warm up on the tubes. Let's just check that they're all lit. Yes, they are, I think. Yep. There we go. And we've got 276 volts, 273, that's dropping because the tubes are beginning to conduct. Now these boogies have a tremendous amount of plate voltage on, ludicrous amounts, which I can't quite see the point of doing that, but pushes the tubes to the limit. So let's we'll drop a 60-watt bulb in with that now, and you can see the voltage is coming up. So we're going to take these tubes up steady, make sure we've got no problems. We're drawing 350 milliamps. Just checking the tubes, they look okay. Yeah, we're running. Right, let's try another 100-watt bulb in. That'll give us 200 now with that. There we go. That's bringing the voltage up now. You can see 367, 368. Let's check the tubes. They all look good. Yeah. Swaging. Drawing 410 milliamps now. Yeah, everything seems okay. Let's go up another 50 watt on the bulbs. Now we're over 400 volts there, and we've still only got 205 volts going into this amp, so you can see that is colossal. 418 volts with 204 volts going in. Now I've got 250 watts of current limiting, and the bulbs are they're dim, very dim, but they're lit. 417, let's take 100 out, put another 150 in. 300 watts of current limiting now. We've got two very dim 150 watt bulbs. Wow, that's a bit warm, that bulb. 446 we've got now, and we've got 216 volts going in. Let's just look at the tubes. No, they all seem good. 650 milliamps draw now. You can actually see that if we go across, you can just see it in the corner there. 216, 650 milliamps, and 103 watts we're drawing. So let's flick the bulbs off. Wow, look at that plate voltage. That is insane, and totally unnecessary. You know, these tubes can't be lasting very long with that sort of voltage on there. That is just crazy, man. Crazy. 1.19 amps being drawn now, 1.2 amps, and that's idle. I know that the filament voltages are included in that. 239.1 volts. No red plating though. And that's what you're always looking out for on these amps, because the tubes, you know, are being pushed to the limit. And these tubes were ordered, you know, especially for this amp. These are the tubes that amp valves these came from, and these are the tubes that they said were suitable for this amp. So that's what we've got in it. We've hit 240 volts now, and we've got 502 volts. That's just mad. You don't need that, but that's Mesa engineering for you. You know, 450, 460 is plenty. What I can never understand with these amps is that if you want to be pushing that sort of voltage in there, why not put EL34s in it? Because they will stand a bit more voltage. So I wonder what they're actually biasing these tubes at in this amp then. So these tubes are what they recommend for this amp. The resistor to ground on the bias circuit is 82k. And these tubes, while they're at idle, you know, they're not really getting too much hammer. But when this amp starts being turned up and cranked and gets some guitar through it, those tubes are going to be getting a hell of a beating. Right, I think what we're doing here, I'm just going to take a quick reading now. I measured these windings earlier for the resistance. So I've got 1.78. I'm just going to test one side. 1.78. So 1.78. Now that winding measures 33 ohms on that side. So we divide that by 33. So we have got 53.9 milliamps. So 54 milliamps, but remember that's two tubes that's drawing that. So divide that by 2. So they're only running at 27 milliamps. So if we times that by, it's about 502 volts, wasn't it? So those tubes are biased at 13.5 watts. So they're way under biased, which brings me back to the point of, again, as I said earlier in the video, why not use EL34s for this? They will stand a lot more plate voltage than these tubes, and then you wouldn't have this problem of oh, you can only use these tubes in there and not this brand of tube. And but yeah, that's what I would have done. Put if you want to use that sort of voltage, put EL34s in it. What's the maximum plate volt on an EL34? Is that 700 volts? Can't remember now. I think it's somewhere around there. But yeah, 13.5 they're running at. And obviously I'm not going to change that. It's ridiculously low. But that's how Mesa have set this up. So, and that's the recommendations. So that's what we're going to do. So that's it. We've got the screen, new screen resistors in there. We've got all the caps in there, and the new coupling caps, of course. Imperative that we change those, so that, given the fact that you know, the 4 new tubes are very expensive. So there's the Boogie, fully finished now. So I'm going to just do a few more tests, check it on the scope, bits and bobs, just to check it, just make sure everything's there okay. I'm going to have a check round inside, make sure that I've got everything soldered up correctly and I've not missed anything, made any mistakes. And then this is ready to go back together, and we can have a listen. Right, I've got the boogie, and we'll see if he'll boogie away now, because he was a bit sick last time we tried him. So yeah, clean tone on there. We've got number 6 on the treble. That's the bass out, bass in. I've got about half the bass. Middle's on 4. Master's on about 1 3/4. And this thing is unbelievably loud. You just cannot believe how loud this amp is. It is mind blowing. I've got, socket 1 there, I've got volume 2 on 2, and I've got volume 1 on 1.5. And these amps in number 1, both volumes work. If you're in socket 2, only the second volume works. Well, it does on this one. Neck position. go. That's the clean tone there. Let's give it a bit of a swage on the overdrive. So we better turn the master down. These pots are still really stiff. They've had gumption in them, but they're still stiff. So I'm going to turn this one up to about number 7. And we're going to crank this to somewhere there. Whoa! Mama, somebody's just shot me. Jeez. Now the first thing I notice about this overdrive is its cold bias. To my ears. But then it will be with the tubes biased at 13.5 watts. What's that, 35%ish? Yeah, a bit more than that, 40 odd percent. Rusty, but you get the picture. So yeah, yeah, great clean tone. The overdrive's okay. I'm not mad on it. It's like anything, you know. Some people love that colder bias overdrive, and some don't. It's not for me, but yeah, the clean tone's obviously great on it, and it is a great amp. My only criticism is the incredible plate voltage on there, which isn't necessary, which is just trouncing these valves, and you know that they won't last as long in there. And I really don't recommend using this on the 60 watt. 2 of those tubes getting pounded with all that plate voltage is obviously worse than 4, but it runs on the 60 watt. In fact, we've had it, in fact, if we drop it on there now, it is just a little bit tamer. Put those on. It's all a blare. Needs a little more bass when you take a couple of the tubes out. Let's try this tweed setting. Like that. That sounds pretty nice. The tweed part of it, that's the tweed setting. Yeah, let's see what the difference is now. If we flick, it's strange, flick it over. So yeah, a bit more aggressive and a bit more middly when you flick it into the normal setting. So that tweed is, I like that tweed. Yeah, that's tweeds. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Yeah. So that's it. The Mesa Boogie, all serviced, and should last for a good few years now. I don't know about the tubes, but the rest of the amp will. So that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching. You all take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.